Hey, everybody. This is Dr. Lori Shemek.
And I'm Omar Cumberbatch. You're listening to This Podcast Burns Fat. Hey, Lori, how are you today?
Well, let's see. I am trying to stay awake. I had a lovely mosquito all night, trying to keep me up, I'm assuming.
Really?
Yeah. Mosquitoes are back. Just letting everyone know.
Yeah, it's that time of year.
Yeah.
It's that time of year.
Yeah. So, yeah, mosquitoes are back. But on the other hand, we have some beautiful weather, and I've been planting beautiful flowers. And so, really nice. Putting a little rock area walkway in the back of my yard. And so that looks really pretty. Really
nice.
Stone walkway. Yeah. Looks pretty. So I've been pretty busy with that kind of stuff and mosquitoes.
Yeah. I could dig it. Yeah, same over here. I just no mosquito stuff. I'm just overall tired all the time. I have to figure it out. I don't know what it is.
Oh, from maybe long COVID.
Could be.
Yeah,
no, listen, I don't know if I told you. I actually have my physical, and they take the blood. So I say, hey, you know what? Can you check if I have the antibodies? And I still have them.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. But it's strange though. I had COVID in January, and I would figure like the antibodies would have gone down, because doesn't that mean that I'm still like fighting something then?
No, it just means that you've been exposed to it, that you've actually had it.
That's it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so that your immune system's ready, equipped to fight it off if you come in contact with it again.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So that's good to know. I was confused at that point. I was like, I still didn't kind of grasp that. I thought, because, listen, I don't have polio antibodies still after.
Maybe you're thinking of monoclonal antibodies?
I don't know. That's what. Okay. Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe
I have no idea.
We know.
At least I'm in good company. Listen, nobody knows what the hell is going on.
It's so true.
So that's my story.
But wake up, you and me. What's wrong with us?
No, exactly.
My pet mosquito.
Yeah. Listen, well, this episode will wake us both up, as well as the audience, if they need any refreshing new thought, because this is definitely the first person that we've had on regarding Aloe Arborescens. We've had an aloe person on before, but this is actually different. So that was really one of the things that was really intriguing, and then we wanted to hear what needed to be said from Mr. Tom Waid, who was really interesting stuff. And I know it was something that was very, very new to us, actually new to North America, apparently, outside of the stuff that he produces. And it's really something that I was kind of interested in, because it's actually supposedly like up to 200 times more potent than regular aloe. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was, just aloe, we know alone in and of itself is a healing plant. So yeah, it was really great hearing about it. One I had never heard of as well. So.
Yeah. And it goes along to, our weight loss idea that the healthier we are, the less we usually weigh. And this compound from this particular plant is really, really powerful, and has like a bazillion different health potential outcomes for us to be healthier. So I found that really amazing as well.
Including blood sugar regulation. So balance. Yeah.
And healing your gut.
Which is indirectly related to fat loss. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Gut health.
Let's jump into the show.
Okay.
Hey, Tom, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Thank you very much. I'm doing well, Omar. Good to talk to you.
Nice to have you, Tom. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori.
Yeah, good to have you here today to talk about aloe vera.
Well, actually, Aloe Arborescens in our case.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You have to clue us in.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this topic because we've actually had somebody on the show previously who actually talked about aloe vera. And when you came up with aloe arborescens, I was like, all right, what's that? Like, Lori, let's get into
What are you
that.
up to now, Lori?
Yeah, you always have a trick up your sleeve. So I'm really
Uh-huh.
excited to at least even just if you could start out how you stumbled upon this particular plant, and really what's the difference between aloe vera and aloe arborescens?
Okay, well, your first question about how I stumbled into this, actually, it was kind of an anomaly because I just happened to be doing some research online at one time, and I stumbled across this particular formula that was divulged by this Franciscan priest in Brazil, Father Romano Zago, and it talked about the Aloe arborescens species. And I just started reading about it and was pretty amazed that this formula even existed and how it was used by Brazilian natives. And I subsequently learned that the formula was actually being manufactured commercially in Europe, but nowhere else, and not in North America at all. And my background, I'm an entrepreneur. I graduated from West Virginia University with a degree in marketing, and I've stayed in marketing and sales and pretty much all my business career. And being an entrepreneur, I saw an opportunity. I so much loved this formula and what it could do for the health of people. And being a student of health and wellness all my life, pretty much, I thought, wow, I think I'll look into this and see if I can manufacture this in North America and make it available here. So I got a copy of the two books on the formula by Father Romano Zago, who is a Franciscan priest from Brazil. And that was 15 years ago when I first learned about this. And I read his two books, which one is called Cancer Can Be Cured, and the other one is Aloe Isn't Medicine, Yet It Cures. And the first book, Cancer Can Be Cured, was written by him after he did extensive research on the ingredients of this particular formula that uses the Aloe arborescens species. And let me say this about Aloe arborescens. That species is a cousin to aloe vera. And if you get outside of North America, where aloe vera is grown primarily in Mexico and South Texas, and you go to other parts of the world like Africa, Mediterranean, parts of Asia, and even Europe, like southern Russia and so forth, and South America and Africa especially, the botanical Aloe arborescens grows naturally, it grows wild, but it's also used and cultivated commercially, where they have plantations and people grow it and they use it in product base. So the difference is, though, that the botanical Aloe arborescens is 200% richer in medicinal properties than aloe vera. And I recently did a test here in Dallas, Texas, with a laboratory that does a lot of testing for me. I wanted to validate that claim of being so much richer in medicinal properties. And one of the key molecules in the botanical of either aloe vera or aloe arborescens is the polysaccharides, which stimulate immune health. And one of those molecules is called ace-mannan. It's the key molecule, key polysaccharide that stimulates the immune system. So I wanted to compare the concentration of ace-mannan and that particular polysaccharide between the two species. And to my not amazement, but to my pleasure, I found that it did show up in the test that the concentration of that particular molecule, ace-mannan, is 200% greater than aloe vera. So that explains why this particular species is so potent when it's one of the ingredients in a product like ours. And our particular formula is pretty simple. It originated in South America, was discovered by Father Romano Zago, who is a Franciscan priest, when he ministered among the Brazilian natives down there and some of the more poverty-stricken areas where they didn't have access to medical care, and they utilized natural remedies for recovery of health. And anyway, the formula calls for 50% Aloe Arborescens juice, where you grind up the whole leaf, not just the inner gel, but you grind the whole leaf, the outer rind, everything. You grind it all up. Then you add 50% honey, and you add 1% distillate, which would be, in our case, organic alcohol that we utilize. But if you're
and
making
the honey is a special type of honey, correct?
Yes, that's a good point, Lori. It's in the formula, when the natives used it in Brazil, and we use it as well. We use only unpasteurized raw honey that's non-heated. That's what gets the best results. Mm-hmm. And we use actually U.S. honey that is growing, or actually it's cultivated in North Texas, above Dallas-Fort Worth. And we think it's the best honey in the world. But the people, of course, in Europe that were making the formula over there, they use their own domestic honey there. But it's the same thing, raw, unpasteurized mm-hmm. honey. So anyway, that's the simplification of the formula. And it's we use it in a 16-ounce bottle that you take a tablespoon 3 times a day, 20 minutes before a meal or eating anything. And that's the way it's used. Now, the discovery of this formula, by the way, was Father Romano Zago is a Franciscan priest, and he discovered this formula in 1988. And he did this by learning there was a formula like this that existed, that it worked very well against cancer. And even to the point that it was claimed it would cure cancer of all parts of the body. Well, he was in disbelief, but he went and investigated himself, found that among the Brazilian natives there, if anybody got a chronic illness, especially cancer, they took the formula and nobody died. Everybody got well. It's like, okay, so he later had assignments outside of Brazil where he was ministering to people in Israel and other parts of Italy and Europe. And wherever he went, and he would find people that had been through all the standard medical care there was available to combat cancer, and nothing was working, and they were basically at death's door, he would recommend this formula. And if they took it, they would get well. And he was just amazed, like, I can't believe this is working the way it is. What is it in aloe and what is it in honey that have these immune stimulating properties and detoxifying properties? So he started doing all the research, and he read everything that he could find that was written by medical scientists here in North America. And actually some of the best. Bill Coates was one of the great aloe scientists that wrote a lot of stuff. Dr. Ivan Danoff is another author who wrote a lot about, he was known as the father of aloe, and he was a pathologist, wrote a lot about the properties in aloe, all species that stimulate immune health. And once he did all the research, then he knew the science behind it, why aloe worked. And he did research on honey as well, and the anti-cancer properties, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory properties in honey as well. And he like, wow, well, science has studied these ingredients for a long time, and they substantiate, the health properties in these, ingredients. So he understood from a scientific standpoint of view, all of a sudden, why this worked. Now, this is a person that is graduated in languages and literature. So he writes very well. And anybody that reads that book, Cancer Can Be Cured, they're kind of going to be blown away, because not just the anecdotal events that he records, that he had firsthand knowledge of where this formula worked, but just the science that he put in the book at explaining why these ingredients work the way they do. And basically, so it's a very good read, and it's not too technical, but it's very thorough in the way it explains things. And he wrote a book also. It was a second book that he wrote. It's called, the monographic history, the scientific monographic history of aloe vera and Aloe Arborescens. And he compares the two species. This is also a very good research project that he did. And I tell you what, when you read his writings, you say, well, this sounds like a scientist writing. This doesn't sound like a Franciscan priest. but that's just, he's just a brilliant person and such a wonderful person to talk to and meet. Unfortunately, he doesn't speak English. So when I would travel to Italy and I would meet with him over there, obviously I don't speak those Romance languages myself, but we communicated because I had other people who were bilingual and we could communicate and we became very close. But one of the
he's in his 90s now, isn't he?
Pardon me?
He's in his 90s now, correct?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
I think right now he's 90 years old. And still in really good health and still, ministering in his Franciscan priest calling. He is of the order of what they call the Order of Friars Minor. That's a special ordination to the Catholic priesthood where you devote your life strictly to humanitarian welfare. And he's done that all his life. So anyway, when he discovered his formula, he wanted so much to write about it and reveal it to the world. And that's why he wrote these 2 books. The second book is called Aloe Isn't Medicine, Yet It Cures. And in this book, he explains how this formula has shown to work on over 100 different health conditions. I'll just give you one example. Lupus is a skin inflammation disease that a lot of people battle. They don't necessarily have a solution for. But this particular formula works very well with people suffering from lupus.
Can I ask you real quick what the difference is between Aloe Arborescens and your typical aloe vera juice that you would get at a health food store? Because I'm sure people are wondering.
Well, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up because actually, the constituents are pretty much the same. It's a question of what is their concentration. There's over 200 beneficial health constituents in the botanical aloe vera and aloe arborescens, and they're pretty much identical. The major difference is the concentration of those constituents is 200% richer than in aloe arborescens than aloe vera.
Okay.
That's the main thing. But in terms of all the enzymes, the vitamins, all the nutrients, they're identical in that sense. Now, the key molecules, and I need to bring this out in our discussion, in both of those species of aloe vera and aloe arborescens, are the polysaccharide molecules and the anthraquinone molecules. Now, a lot of people, you're going to see aloe products out there that are aloe vera based, and they're good products as far as what they consist of. But some of them are made of juice of the inner gel only, the fillet part inside the leaf, and they don't grind up the whole leaf. If you can find, and there are some products on the shelf that are aloe vera made that are whole leaf aloe vera, you're going to get a more potent juice, aloe vera juice, that way than if you get one that's made just with the inner gel portion. Because science has substantiated this, that there's a lot of medicinal properties in the outer rind leaf portion of the botanical, especially the anthraquinones that you want to be included in the juice that aren't if they use the inner fillet gel only. So that's a big differentiation that you want to look for if you're buying an aloe vera product. Now, or aloe arborescens. Aloe arborescens juice products based are not available in North America at this time, other than our product alone.
And when you say fillet, you are referring to the leaf?
Well, okay. When you cut open a leaf of an aloe leaf, it doesn't matter what the species is, you got 2 parts. You got the outer rind, which is the green part, and then you have the inner fillet part, which is a clear mucus-like looking substance. And that's what a lot of manufacturers will use as only the inner fillet part when they manufacture a product. And there's nothing wrong with that. That in itself has many medicinal benefits, whether it's going into a liquid to be ingested or whether it's going to be used in a topical gel for wounds and cuts and bites and things like that. A lot of people just use the inner fillet part of the leaf itself. But when you do that, you're missing some of the key health benefits that are in the outer rind leaf portion, such as, and let me explain that, the anthraquinones. And the anthraquinones are molecules that are, they're broken down into what they call aloe and aloin. Now, in Africa, there were some products that made for a long time that were aloin based only, where they used just that molecule, and it was made for a laxity purpose because it does have regulatory properties for the bowels. But later, it was discontinued because they said it was too strong to use just by itself, and so they wanted it to be a part of the whole leaf and not separated out as a constituent of just the aloe botanical itself. So, but anyway, anthraquinones, those molecules of aloe amodin. I'll give you an example of how important aloe amodin is. And by the way, this science is all published on our website. Anybody can go there and they can read these clinical studies, and they can learn these things that we're talking about here. But there was a study done in Italy about 5 years ago, actually 2018, I think was the time that Wiley International published this study, but it showed the effects of just this one constituent, aloe amodin, against the glioblastoma cell growth of the tumor glioblastoma for brain tumor. And they tested it both in cultures and they tested in animals, mice, and so forth. And they found that one constituent, which is an anthraquinone, found only in the outer leaf portion of the plant, that aloe amodin inhibited the growth of the glioblastoma tumor cell. Now, when I read that, I said, wow, I'm so glad that somebody's doing this kind of study. It was done at the University of Rome, in Rome, Italy. And I'm so glad somebody's publishing that, because it just validates another reason of why the potency is there to combat chronic illness with the botanical Aloe Arborescens. But to think about this, and I kind of chuckled in a way, and I said, okay, you guys only have one constituent that you've isolated, and you're using that to test it against a particular type of deadly tumor cell, and you're finding that it actually works. What if you had the synergism of all the active ingredients in the botanical Aloe Arborescens? What would that do for a person's health? So anyway, it just goes to show you, though, you don't want to use just a product that's manufactured using only the inner gel portion of the leaf itself, because the anthraquinones and things like the aloe amodin, the aloin, and so forth, that's only found and comes from the outer leaf portion of the plant itself, and that's called the rind. So you definitely, if you're going to use an aloe-based product, you want to be sure that it's whole leaf if you can get it. Okay. So anyway,
thank you. Yeah.
That kind of explains the difference between Aloe Arborescens and aloe vera. And we only use Aloe Arborescens because of the potency. We think that this is the most potent immune health formula, all natural, on the market anywhere.
So with that said, could you give us a list of benefits maybe and can it help directly or indirectly fat loss?
Yes, we don't market it for that purpose, but it definitely can help with fat loss as well because of nutrition. And let me read this one statement, because it's a good point to bring this in, because people need to understand something about phytonutrients, phytonutrition, what I call phytonutrition, which are plant nutrition. I'd like to read you a quote by H. Reginald McDaniel, who's an MD and a pathologist. He's here in Dallas, Texas, and he's done research on the botanical aloe, probably as much or more than any scientist I know of. And he's published a lot of really great clinical research studies on the botanical aloe vera. And he makes this statement. and I like it better than any I've read anywhere. It says, when put in the diet, initially, phytonutrients synthesized in plant cells have no capacity to attack and destroy the threat to life until they are processed. Nutrition is thus not the treatment of disease. The body manages its own quest for defense and healing. I thought that's a true statement, and based on that, I can honestly say our product alone does not treat, mitigate, prevent, or cure a disease until, it's nutrition. And until people ingest it and it goes into the body and the cells and so forth, and it's the body's own innate immune system that goes to work. And other organs and other things like the gastrointestinal system, the circulatory system, and all those things, they go to work, and it's the body that cures itself. So anyway, keep that in mind as I tell you about some of the benefits. Thank you for
sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, here's the thing that if you don't remember anything other than these two things about this product, you'll get the gist of what its most benefit is. And I can say it benefits in a lot of ways, but most chronic illness is attributed to two things. One is people are toxic, and they get that way. And when you get toxic, your body doesn't function and it starts to break down for various reasons. And also the second thing that compromised people's health is a dysfunctional immune system. And you can say, well, it's overactive, it's underactive, however you want to describe it. If the immune system is dysfunctional, that's the first line of defense and the host defense of the body against viruses, chronic illnesses, and things like that. So those are the two things you have to address in chronic illness. And by the way, I've mentioned this before, but if you look up a study done by the National Center for Chronic Disease, it states that chronic diseases in America, there's 6 out of 10 people that have one chronic disease in America. Can you imagine that? 60% of the population?
Horrible.
Adult so population. Sad. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then 4 out of 10 have 2 or more chronic illnesses. So that's kind of what we're dealing with in our country alone. But the thing about this formula, if you can revitalize the immune system, if you can detoxify the body, your chances of healing and getting well are just upgraded substantially. And,
so what you're saying then is that one of the benefits of this is detox?
Absolutely,
and there's other benefits too, correct? Skin health. The list is tremendous.
Yeah, and all of that is pretty much summarized. If anybody wants to know all the different things that can help, all they got to do is read the book, Aloe is a Medicine, Yet it Cures, and they can see over 100 different health conditions this formula is recommended for. And that's based on experience of not just Fala Zago, but others on 5 different continents. But the main thing is and here again, this is why you want to use the whole leaf. It's the anthraquinone properties, the aloe-amodin, the aloins, and so forth, that detoxify the body. And it all starts in the gut, the gastrointestinal system. So if you can detoxify the body and cleanse the blood, that works in conjunction with stimulation and enhancement of the immune system and revitalize the immune system, which is the other thing that happens when you use this formula, because again, we go back to the sugar molecules, which are called the polysaccharides in botanical aloe, and ace-mannan being one of those key molecules that actually stimulates the immune system's white blood cells, the natural killer cells, which search out and find the renegade cells, or what they call the foreign cells, and help eliminate those through apoptosis and just ingestion of those cells themselves. So those two are the key things that this formula works to do for the physiology of the body, and that's detoxification. And I like to use the word immunomodulatory and protective action, because that's what the botanical aloe does. It modulates the immune system. If it's overactive, it'll bring it back into balance. If it's underactive, it'll bring it back into balance the way it should be, either way.
Very interesting.
So we have people all the time that call in, and sometimes we talk to them. We have a chance to talk to them, we visit with them, and we always say, well, how are you using this formula, and what are you taking it for? And somebody says, oh, well, it's the only thing that I've found to work against Lyme disease that helps, me to cope with that particular illness. And we're like, wow, that's, we're not surprised, but, we don't advertise it works with any particular disease, but just assuming it works on the immune system and the gastrointestinal system and the circulatory system to improve those and to detoxify the body, we can see how it could be a benefit. But I would say this in terms of general, those are the two things, detoxification and fortification of the immune system, and getting those two things functioning right. But this product, if you study the botanical aloe, like many people have, you'll find that it works on the gastrointestinal system. A lot of people that are going through standard medical care, different treatments, they say, unfortunately, some of the side effects I'm experiencing is that I'm not regular. I'm like constipated all the time. And it's like, they take this formula, they become regular. Mm-hmm. So, it's just one of the things that it helps balance out the biome of the body itself. And so it works to help purify the blood, the gastrointestinal system. It works, the blood circulatory system. It works on the gastrointestinal system very well. It helps so many parts of the physiology of the body to basically tune up the body. But
metabolic health, heart health, blood pressure.
Absolutely. Yeah, all of those things. It's just, I would say this, if you want to try something really fun sometime, just do a Google of the name Dr. Reg. You can put Reg McDaniel, McDaniel, MD, or Reginald or Dr. Reg McDaniel. Just go to YouTube, put in his name, and just start watching some of his videos that he talks about the botanical aloe vera that he's had so much experience on. He's done so much research. He's published so many scientific studies on. And when you start watching his videos and he starts talking about, and he shows a lot of clinical science slides as well, and shows what happens when you ingest this type of liquid natural substance and how it works on the physiology of the body. When you start watching some of the things that he talks about and explains, then you're going to be amazed. And it's like, why isn't everybody taking this? Or using it in some fashion?
So, Tom, on your website, it says one of the benefits that has been documented is assisting and stabilizing the glucose values in the blood. So that's the big component to weight gain, at least as far as we understand it. How does this compound actually promote a stabilization of blood sugar, which is really vital in maintaining our weight?
I'd have to refer that to some of the clinical studies because I'm not the medical scientist that Dr. Reg McDaniel would be, or Dr. Danoff, but we know that science does exist, which shows that benefit. And that's why people that have diabetes can utilize this formula as well. A lot of people say, oh, well, it's got honey in it. So isn't that sugar? It's not the same. It's very different than cane sugar. And it should not ever be compared with anything related to cane sugar. Total difference. I've got a library of books on honey itself, which shows all of its medicinal properties and its benefit to the body. And there's a lot of science which shows absolutely it helps people with diabetes. So it's very compatible. And that's one of the benefits of this product too. It's an integrated type of product. You can use it with virtually any modality of healthcare you might be utilizing because there's no concentration, there's no conflict. It works very well. It complements actually anything else you might be doing.
So, yeah, I'm glad that you brought up the honey part because that was one of the things that Lori and I were discussing, because if you look at the label of your product, it looks like it's high in quote unquote sugar. And obviously now we know it because of the pairing with honey, that's the reason why it's an elevated sugar content, at least on the label. So that's something that we should not be concerned about, as it is because of honey that makes it that high.
Definitely not, because there. And if you read again, if you go to our website and if you read the science we published there on the health benefits of honey, you will absolutely be amazed. There are things on there that a lot of people don't know, unless you happen to be studying the health benefits of honey. You would not necessarily know that those medicinal constituents and properties exist in honey itself. That's what we call honey is our cofactor of the formula. And just to give you an example, medicinal honey research has been undergoing a substantial renaissance for a number of years, and research has shown that raw honey contains the living form of an immune boosting probiotic bacteria called Lactobacillus kincaid, which stimulates the cell's immunity processes. And it's the flower nectars that are providing the bees with this immune boosting probiotic bacteria. And that's a fact. I mean, that's a part of medical science. I mean, that's just one example of how honey is so beneficial in just immune health alone. And just that one particular constituent, it's called Lactobacillus kincaid, which is a probiotic bacteria. So, I mean, there's so many other properties in honey alone. Honey, but here's the way honey works in this formula. It not only has its own health benefits, but it helps take the aloe properties, the liquid aloe properties, to the remote parts of the body. It acts as a preservative for the formula itself, because honey does not degrade. Honey is a preservative. Honey, I mean, you put it on the shelf, it'll be good 100 years from now. It may crystallize on you, but in some cases, depending if it's exposed to a lot of heat, but honey has longevity, and it is known as a preservative in itself. So that's why this formula, we tell people, it says on our label to refrigerate it after you open it, but you don't really have to do that. If you just put it on the shelf where it's in, say, room temperature, that formula is going to be preserved. Although we have natural preservatives in the formula, but the honey itself acts as a preservative. So
it's really delicious.
Yeah, it's got
really
a really
delicious.
good taste.
Yeah. So, the blood pressure factor that Aloe Arborescens helps promote. It also promotes athletic exercise performance. All of that is related to something called nitrates within the plant itself, which creates nitric oxide in the body. And so that's why, we have all these benefits from this plant, which I find really fascinating, because if you look at some of the benefits, as you mentioned, fat loss, and indirectly, I would say, just because of the balanced blood sugar occurs, immune function, it has been shown via research to slow the growth of cancer. In this one study, it promotes skin health, including psoriasis, helping with that condition, and energy, brain function, stress reduction as well, cholesterol issues, and the list is, like I said earlier, is really tremendous. So, I really think that this is one of the things you can add to your diet, if you will, because it is really a plant. And would you consider it a supplement?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because actually it's classified as medical food.
Okay, that's interesting.
And because it is classified as medical food, it can be prescribed by any physician as a part of a person's diet for that purpose. And that's a classification actually by the government, which allows food like these food substances to be classified as medical food, which our product is.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And I will say this, let me, while it's on my mind about the use of the formula. The question is often asked, well, okay, I've got a health condition. I want to use the formula for, in conjunction with other things that I'm doing. How long do I stay on this? And the individual person has to answer that question. What we say is that this formula is not meant to be a supplement that you take all your life. Like some of the, let's say, inexpensive aloe juice formulas that you can buy on the shelf in a lot of retail stores. If you want to take those on a regular daily basis, that's fine. But because this formula, has the ingredients that it has and so forth, and has the potency it has, actually people only use the formula until their health condition improves. Their symptoms show that whatever condition they were dealing with is in remission or completely gone. And if that's the case, then you can use this formula as a maintenance formula and just take it every 90 days. Just take one bottle, because one bottle, which is a 16-ounce bottle, if you take a tablespoon 3 times a day, you're going to go through that bottle in 10 days. And on our label, it says, consider taking a 10-day break before using the next bottle. Well, that's because that's the way the Brazilian natives, when they made this homemade formula and they used it, they would take a 10-day break between, their use of the formula. And it's not scientifically proven that works, but some doctors will tell you there are health benefits in taking natural substances where you do take a break and come back and you get improved results by taking a break. But most people tell us that they say, oh no, Tom, this formula works too well. We're going to stay on it until our test results and to our symptoms indicate we're done with this condition. So we say, okay, fine. But once you got it in remission or you're well, then, if you just want to take this on a maintenance basis, just what we call the 10-day therapy, just use a bottle, take the 10-day therapy once every 90 days or 6 months, and you're going to do 2 things. You're going to detoxify the body and you're going to fortify the immune system. And those are the 2 things that you want from a maintenance and preventive standpoint of view.
Okay.
You want to have a healthy immune system.
So, Tom, I think to wrap, I guess, because we went through a lot of the technical stuff with this, can Aloe Arborescens coexist with aloe vera? Have you ever seen that combination of people doing both?
Well, if I understand your question, if they're using an aloe vera product, let's just say a liquid product now, and they want to use another aloe-based liquid product and use the Aloe Arborescens formula, that's fine. Absolutely, they're compatible. They're they're integrative because they're both aloe, and the only difference between the 2 is the concentration of medicinal properties. And the thing is, with our formula, we don't make the juice and sell it just by itself. We only make the formula where it's blended 50% with raw and pasteurized honey and the 1% distillate. But by all means, yes, if they're using currently an aloe vera product, whether it's in powder form, tablet, or capsule or liquid, they can absolutely use this with it.
Great. So I guess to conclude, I would absolutely just want to thank you, of course, for being on the show and sharing all this knowledge. Again, very new to our audience as far as Aloe Arborescens goes. And, obviously it's something with, being a weight loss program that this is, Lori and I's philosophy of just about weight loss in general is like, it is a byproduct of health, and this obviously can get us on the way to becoming more healthy. So I thank you for sharing this.
Yes. Thank you for stopping by, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just conclude with this. And I can't say that, I can give you the science on the weight loss aspect of it, but I will say this anecdotally, people have claimed this has tremendous benefit in helping them to reduce their weight.
Mhm.
Well, it would indirectly if it balances blood sugar so well. So,
Right.
yeah.
Mhm.
So that's one key component to fat loss. Yeah.
Well,
So
you guys,
could you tell our audience where they can find you and read your books and your website and all of that good stuff?
of course. For the books, if they can do two things. If they go to cancercanbecured.com, they can see both books are sold there, and you have a choice of buying them digitally or the hard printed copy. That would be a beginning start place. Also, you can go to Amazon, and if you just type in the name, Father Romano Zago, that's Zago, just type in his name and his books will come up, because they're also sold on Amazon, the two books. And as far as the formula itself, that's also, we sell that on Amazon. So if you just type in the word Aloe Arborescens, it's going to bring up the formula. It's going to bring it up there. Or another thing you can do is, if you just go to the internet, Google search, and just type in the words Aloe Arborescens formula, it's going to bring it up there. Our website is aloeproductscenter.com. That's with an S, aloeproductscenter.com. Or if you use our company name, just Deca, DECA, Aloe, ALOE.com, you can find us, same thing, website. That's it. It's there. And I will mention this, because a lot of people that may be in your audience may be practitioners, they may be resellers or whatever. If they're qualified to become a reseller because they're a practitioner, they're a clinic, they're any kind of medical care facility, or they're a practitioner of any type, or if they're e-commerce and they're selling supplements and they want to be a reseller of our product, they can go to our website and just click on the tab reseller, and it'll open up an application they fill out right there online. Once they complete it, it's real simple. It takes them immediately to the wholesale pricing, and they can buy the product wholesale, in which they can have it shipped to them. Or if they want us to drop ship it to their customer, all they got to do is tell us when they place an order where the shipping is to go, and we can drop ship it to their customer as well. So we do sell to practitioners and resellers, as well as to the general public, our product, and it works really well.
Thank you so much for that. We appreciate all that information.
Yeah. Thank you, Tom. It was nice having you, Mr. Tom Waid, in the house.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of This Podcast Burns Fat. We're so excited to have you as a listener, and we're hoping that you really enjoyed the content as well. And if you did, please run over to iTunes and provide a rating and or review. It will go a long way in helping us continuously build our listenership up, so that we can provide you with excellent content regarding fat loss, weight management, and just an overall healthy lifestyle. Thanks so much. Have a great night.